Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I wanted to do a baby name video. I want to stress that I'm not pregnant or anything like that, but this video has been coming up on my feed quite a lot recently, and I really wanted to do it because the names I like are very different to most people's choices, I suppose. So I wanted to do something a bit different and show a few names that I enjoy and I really like. I did try and film this before and I had a longer list for each gender, but now I've cut it down to 5 names just because it's a little bit easy to do it like that, and it won't take as long for the video to upload onto YouTube. So I'm gonna start off with the 5 girl names that I really love. The first name I love for a little girl who I think if I ever had a little girl, this is the name I'd definitely want to use, unless I found something else I really liked, and that is Enid. And I think of Enid Blyton when I think of Enid. I know that there's a character in The Walking Dead called Enid, and there's other characters that are called Enid in other different shows and things, but I really love the name Enid purely because I read a lot of Enid Blyton when I was little, and I just think that name's really sweet, even though Enid Blyton herself wasn't particularly nice back in the day apparently. So I really love the name Enid. The second girl's name that I like is Rita. Now I know when people think of the name Rita they think of an old lady, and yeah, it can be considered like that. It is an old lady name, but I do love old lady names on little girls. I know that sounds really weird, but I do think they can make a comeback now and that they would be really sweet. So names like Mabel and Mavis, stuff like that I think is really quite sweet. So I really like the name Rita. I don't know if I'd use it, but I love it. The next name is Ethel, and I was thinking about this the other day, and it's a name that I've not heard in a long time, and actually recently I think it's really sweet. So I love the name Ethel. The only reason why I probably wouldn't use it is just because I've always pictured a girl called Enid, personally, and if I was to have another girl, calling her Ethel would be a bit confusing just because both of their names start with E. So that's the only reason why I probably wouldn't pick it. The next girl's name on my list is Nancy, and I've loved this name for a long time actually. For a long time I loved the name Darcy, and then Darcy's become super popular, and I don't like the thought of having a child who has a name that is super popular. I don't want my kid to be one of 6 kids with the same name in their class. So the name Darcy became super popular, but I loved the name Nancy. And I still think it's really sweet actually. I think if I ever had another child, maybe Nancy would definitely be a name I'd be interested in using, but I'm not too sure. And the next name is Erin, and this is again due to the same sort of reason. It has become really popular. I do love the way it's spelt, it's super simple, and I think Erin and Enid could be really cute if I had twins or something. I think that's really quite a sweet combination. I love unusual names as well, so if I ever thought of middle names and things like that as well, I think Erin would definitely be a sweet middle name. Just a couple of extra mentions for names that I've just sort of forgotten to add to the list, but I think deserve to shout out. I love the name Lark for a little girl. I think that is absolutely adorable, and I think that could be a super cute name for a little girl. And I love the name Andrea. I have a friend called Andrea, and I think her name is really sweet actually. I don't think it's used often enough. I think that's a really nice down-to-earth name. So they're my 2 little shout outs. On to the 5 boys' names that I've picked. The first one is Warren. I thought this name was really lovely. I think it's nice to have a name that starts with a W because you don't really come across that very often, but also it's a nature name, so it's quite a sweet, different, down-to-earth sort of name, I think. And I think I can imagine it on a teenager and an older person as well as a little boy called Warren, so I think that's really sweet. The next name is Darwin. I've had my heart set on Darwin for quite a long time. I think Darwin is such a sweet little name. I know it sounds very out there, but that's why I like it, because you're not going to get a kid called Darwin in your child's class. I think it's just not likely to happen. So I think that would be a really nice name that would definitely stand out from the crowd, and I think it could be quite trendy. But that's just my opinion. The next name is Newton. Again, I like the old-fashioned sort of name. I don't know what it is, but this scientist thing sounds really kind of cool. But Newt for a little boy sounds really sweet. I think that could grow into a really good nickname for a teenager. I just think that's such a cool name. And I think if I did use it, then I'd have to have like a really funky middle name for it as well. So the next 2 names I've picked for my 5 boys are sort of names that I probably wouldn't use as a first name, but more as a middle name, just because I think it flows nicely. So the first one is Fox. Now, I love foxes, they're my favourite animal, but you can use Fox as a name, but I wouldn't be brave enough to use it as a first name. So I like the idea of having a kid called Warren Fox, because that just sounds such a juxtaposition, because Warren is where rabbits live and foxes hunt rabbits. But I love those 2 names together. It sounds super cute, I love it, and I think it would be so original and different. And the next one is Gray, and I've always loved the name Gray just as a middle name, but I spell it Gray, not EY like the colour. And I think Darwin Gray sounds super cute as well. So those are like the combinations I've kind of come up with for little boys and things like that. Other names that I really like for boys, I love the name Ted. I think Ted is super sweet as well. Ted or Teddy as a little boy, I think that's such a sweet little name. And I love the name Noel as well, which sounds really weird, but it's because there is a little boy who has videos on YouTube, his mum puts them up of him, and he's only like a toddler, and he's Scottish and he's so adorable. And when I think of Noel, I think of him, and I think that's such a cute little name. And I think it's a name that they could grow up with and grow into as well. So that was my sort of 10 baby names that I really love, but may or may not use in the future, I don't know. But those are definitely things that I think you should keep an eye out for. I think that's a really nice little tag to do, and if you want to do it yourself, feel free. I just really wanted to make this video. I've been looking forward to it for a while, and I want to make a video of the names I like before I forget them, because there's a high chance I possibly will at some point, especially if there's ones that I've missed out. I mean, like Ethel, I'd only heard that like the other day, and I thought, oh my god, that is a name I'd actually like, and I'll add it to the list whilst I remember it. So feel free to have a go at this tag, and I will speak to you soon, and goodbye.